To begin, I will read from Bloomberg. This requires a little bit of foundation, but Bloomberg writes, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission sued Adobe, alleging the software company violated consumer protection laws by making it too difficult for consumers to cancel their subscriptions. Adobe pushed users toward annual subscriptions to its creative software, such as Photoshop, without, quote, adequately disclosing, end quote, that canceling in the first year could cost hundreds of dollars, the FTC said Monday in a statement. The company also designed the cancellation process to be difficult, requiring navigating many online pages or transfers between customer services representatives, the regulators said. And Ben, the core claim from the FTC centers on the subscription options to Adobe Creative Cloud, where users can choose between either the annual paid monthly plan, which is basically an installment plan, and if you cancel, the early termination fee is 50% of what you would pay if you had subscribed for the full year, and that plan costs about $660 per year. The second option is an annual prepaid plan, which is a single lump sum payment, and that is a little bit cheaper than the annual paid monthly plan. That's $600 a year. And then the monthly plan is monthly, and you can cancel anytime, but it's far more expensive. That costs $990 per year. The FTC argues that Adobe is violating the law by failing to clearly and conspicuously disclose to customers that canceling the annual paid monthly option will result in a 50% termination fee. You wrote about it on Tuesday. You did the math.
Yes, I did.
The final section of your update was very good. So can you summarize your take in broad strokes here?
Well, before that, actually, there's a few things I didn't get to in the update that I want to address sort of as long as we're here. I didn't really talk about the difficult to cancel. I think this is ridiculous. Like this is the same thing. This is the main thing they nailed Amazon for last year. Like, I'm sorry you had to do like 3 extra mouse clicks. Like this drives me insane. It's like you had to go out and code up every page as you went to exit. And the reason why and it's not just that it's ridiculous. You can click the mouse 3 extra times. It's fine.
Okay.
You know, and companies get a chance to sell you one last time. Say, are you sure you want to cancel? Here's all the benefits you're going to get. Here's what you're going to lose. There's nothing wrong with that. I just wholeheartedly object to this entire train of objection as far as canceling.
Can I ask, how do you draw the line there? Because trying to cancel certain subscriptions is a real pain in the ass.
This is an example. Okay, I have 2 takes on this. Number one of the objections to including this is it kind of gives the game away about how political this stuff is. If you have, say, a newspaper that lets you sign up on the web, but call to unsubscribe.
I almost cited the Wall Street Journal by name. I've tried to cancel.
The New York Times did this for years and years, and I think they after the like 100th time they wrote complaining about or writing cases like this, and people are like, "Why do we have to call to cancel for you?" They finally, I believe, instituted sort of on the web cancellation. So this is just a bad line of attack all around. Number one, it's overstated. Number two, if you're going to attack this, attack the actual problems. Otherwise, you look like a political stooge. Okay, so that's take number one. Take number two, this is one of the more powerful pro-Apple arguments as far as their strong control of the App Store. By forcing all subscription-based apps to offer an Apple App Store version of subscription, what they are delivering to consumers is a guarantee that you'll have one place to go to view your subscriptions and cancel them
true
easily.
It is incredibly convenient and easy to cancel any sort of Apple subscription.
Yeah, and that's a real benefit. And there's a bit here where, there's a lot of good developers that are not playing tricks. Stratechery does not play any tricks. You can go to your account page and cancel at any time. But there is a, it's one click, by the way. There's not like a bunch of jumping through multiple hoops and things along those lines. But there should be an acknowledgement that there has been a spoiling of the commons. And a lot of that has been by the biggest companies like Adobe, like the Wall Street Journal, like the New York Times for years and years until previously. And that is a legitimate reason for Apple to force everyone to go through their system so that their customers cannot get screwed by unscrupulous actors. So it's always worth calling out these pieces. Like, you don't want to fall into any sort of like, there's lots of good and bad things for lots of things, and the App Store is definitely one of them.
Yeah, well, and on that point, I think it's reasonable for Apple to force everybody to use their payment system and play by Apple's rules. The pushback comes when Apple tries to extract a 30% or 27% fee for doing that.
Well, I mean, you get what you pay for, I guess. Number 2. Let's remember these options. Okay, if you look on the page, and I was actually kind of confused, so I put the screenshot from the complaint in my update, even though it was super blurry, because I wanted to emphasize I didn't pick like a recent screenshot that didn't seem so bad, because it doesn't seem so bad. It says on the page that annual paid monthly has a termination fee. It says annual prepaid is a one-time payment, and it says monthly. It says underneath it, cancel anytime.
Right.
There is 2 important things to note. There's 2 sort of consumers at play here. One, you're kind of in a rush. You just click through. You grab the cheapest one. Okay. Whose fault is this that you were not looking at it sort of carefully? Number 2, this is going to sound mean, but I mean it in a sort of philosophical way. There's people that can be just kind of dumb and they just don't understand what they're clicking. And I actually have a lot more sympathy for this sort of individual. Like, the truth is, navigating the modern world, everything moving to online, all this fine print and things that you have to know what you're signing up for is tough. And there are probably a disturbing number of internet services, particularly subscription-based ones, that prey on these sorts of folks. And so I think it's worth acknowledging that. It's kind of an uncomfortable thing to say or admit, but we kind of all know it's true. And that is something that I think that gets into the broader, is this the right thing to do sort of bit. That's number 2. There is number 3.
Well, and on that point, I will just add that I don't consider myself simple, to sort of frame it the way you frame it, or whatever. I'm not a rube, but it can be really frustrating trying to find the right product. And like, I remember a couple years ago, I needed to get a copy of Microsoft Word, and I just needed Word. I didn't need the entire Microsoft 365 package, and trying to find only Word was really, really exhausting, clicking through all these different. Yeah, exactly. And it's fine. I get that Microsoft is a business, but at the same time, it can be incredibly frustrating, even if you're a relatively sophisticated consumer.
And the capacity to make it frustrating is so much higher on a website than it is like in a store, where you're holding the object in your hand and you know what you're getting.